don't know me, my name is Julianne. I'm one of the maid of honors. For those that you do know me, please don't look so worried. I promised I would behave. I limit myself to no wardrobe changes. I sent my backup dancers home, and there's no pyrotechnics after that last incident. Yeah. So, that aside, I wasn't really sure how to start off this speech, because if I'm going to be honest, Kate's always been the speech giver between the two of us, so I haven't really had to. Kate and I, we've been friends for 11 years. And we went to SUNY Potsdam together, and then, Potsdam. Potsdam in the house. So that wasn't enough. So we actually went to grad school with each other, too. Yeah. And something that was interesting is that Kate was kind of a big deal at both institutions. Kind of a big deal. For example, one of those things, she got to speak at both graduations. And with that, she name dropped me every time, and I might owe her a lot of money due to inflation, because I had to pay her for $5 every time she said my name. So with that being said, I thought, like, okay, this is my first formal speech, this is my breakout role, I'm gonna make it work, here it is. So I thought back to my public speaking days in college, my classes. I looked back at inspirational speeches throughout the ages. And I also looked back to speeches that Kate's given. So I decided to use that as my inspiration. So, with that being said, I'm actually going to formally start. So, I need to get that preamble out because I am blocking you from food. So, it's an honor to be speaking with all of you today. If you could please look to your left, look to your right. You are the people that mean the most to Kate and Brian. You are the people that they love the most. You're the people that they selected to be here today. You made the cut. You're kind of a big deal too. And honestly, you being here means the world to both of them. You are what has made this the fairy tale that they have both dreamed of. So I would like to thank you for traveling this way, especially those of you who came far. I promise this isn't long. I typed it and it's big letters. I read that like as a tip once. So I am honored to have a new BFF-in-law, Brian. And like, if I'm gonna be honest, I will never forget the day that Kate told me that she met Brian and that she was going to go out on a date with him. For those of you that don't know the story of how they met, Brian was actually the maintenance man of the building where Kate moved into. And so I was going to help Kate move like a great friend, but being in central New York, we had a snowstorm and I bailed. And so it worked out. A few weeks in, probably like a week or two, we chatted, caught up on like all of the great things about the new building. And if you know Kate, she's really into history. So she was telling me all of the history of this building, how it was converted into apartments, its rich architecture, the great big windows, the hardwood floors, the dreamy maintenance man. And yeah, and like, okay, all right. So then, not too long after, that's when I found out she was going on a date with him. So then I thought, like, okay, I can be the good friend. I need to weigh out the pros and the cons of the situation, because this can either be really good or really bad. So potential pros. Discounted maintenance fees. It was $20 to put in an air conditioner, $20 to take it out. She had an AC. Albany, how long do you need an AC for? That's like $40 saved. Potential cons. Brian had keys to her apartment. We didn't know him. If it turned out that he wasn't normal, thankfully he is. That could have been a really bad situation. You don't want a serial killer having, keys to your apartment. So, Kate, it was great. I knew that it was going to go well because she told me it is worth the risk. And she wouldn't let me do an interview. She wouldn't let me do background checks. She's like, no, just let me do this. And I'm like, all right. Yeah, I couldn't do a credit score. And I was like, come on, Kate. It's like 2000 something. 13? 2000 something. Yeah, I was there. I think something that should be important is that I knew that Brian was the one just by the way that she talked about him after their first date. And then when he didn't call her back right away, and she still like had high spirits, and I was like, no, he'll do this. It actually ended up being a really good thing. He was playing it really cool. Yeah, it was good from that point on. So like she was talking about it very differently. She is a very intentional person. She planned our first meeting. It was a few months in, make sure that like this is going well. We met at Bacon Fest. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I love bacon. So like they buttered me up. So I don't know if it was the smell of the sweet bacon in the air or all of the magical little moments, but I knew right away Brian was the one. There was bacon. He saved a girl's life. No joke. Like that was the situation. There was more bacon, and he even laughed at some of my jokes. So like that was a good deal. But most importantly, I knew that Brian was the one because of the way that he was looking at Kate. He had such love and admiration and respect. And he wasn't intimidated by her. Also, if you don't know Kate that well, she is fiercely independent. And this has been something that like boys are more or less terrified of. I remember in college, sometimes like, oh, Kate got a package from home, that's so nice. Big, nice, strong guys, like, oh, Kate, would you like help opening that? And as she's pulling out her pocket knife and ripping it open, she's like, that's okay, I got it. So like, yes. She's Scott's on it. So with that being said, Kate, she doesn't need a guy to take care of her. She can take care of herself. What she needs is a partner. And that's what she has found in Brian. Brian doesn't need to take care of her. He compliments her in every way. So it's funny, this was actually in Kate's vows. We did not plan this. So I was laughing when I heard it. I was trying not to because it was very serious. I said in my speech, as the professionals would say, Kate and Brian, they're what we call a puzzle couple. Together, well, separate, let's start with that. They're beautiful pieces. They have their strengths. It's great, it's colorful, glorious. But then when you put it together, it creates this big, better picture. And you can't imagine seeing those pieces not together anymore. And then if they are apart, they're just easily lost, misplaced pieces that are nothing. So together, they bring out each other's strengths, they enhance what you see, and so they are really the complete package. So, I would be lying if I didn't say that Brian is the only boyfriend of Kate's that I've ever liked, so no pressure. And with that, I have a vested interest to also give you some advice, like Kelly. Mine is a little bit different, hers was a little bit better, but mine is more practical, so you'll use it in your everyday life. So I looked up Forbes' top 3 best marriage success tips for you. So, brace yourself. Number 1, root for the Bills. If you haven't noticed, Caitlin's family is into hunting. It's in her blood. And I just want you to know, no husband has ever been shot for putting down the toilet seat. And my final piece of advice is communication. That goes with my field, but most pragmatically, if we're going to be honest, Romeo and Juliet is a classic example of communication gone wrong. So make sure that you are communicating, because that done pretty poorly. So with that being said, if everybody could please take their glass and toast to this beautiful couple and the day that we've been waiting for so long. Cheers. Well done.